Welcome to Ciena presentation. I'm Vini Santos, Senior Advisor at Ciena Portfolio Marketing Team and leader of Ciena Adaptive AP Solution. First, I'd like to thank Mountain Connect for giving Ciena the opportunity to be involved with this great conference every year. It is truly one of the best organized and beneficial conferences that Ciena participates in. This year's theme, broadband, the greater enabler for disruptive technologies, couldn't be timelier and more appropriate for the world we are living in. In the past year, Ciena has enjoyed bringing more bandwidth to the people of Colorado through our involvement with Project 4, powering the fiber transfer backbone, and working to make Colorado highways safer and more efficient through our intimate involvement with the Colorado Department of Transportation. We look forward to continue to expand our presence in the great state of Colorado as we continue to help enable disruptive broadband technologies. This leads to our presentation today regarding the adaptive network and how Ciena is helping community networks become faster, efficient, and secure through our adaptive IP solution. So let's begin. The pursuit of constant innovation is extremely important because what user and community's constituents are expecting from the network is changing. Connectivity already evolved from being a nice to have to become a lifeline for people, business, and public administrations. But with all the innovation that smart cities will enable, citizens are expecting a different type of experience and they want it now. Smart communities are in constant evolution, starting by Smart Communities 1.0, focused on simply adding sensors and devices in support to specific agents' needs. Moving into a more human-centric design in Smart Communities 2.0, enabling more collaboration between agencies. And finally, getting to a Smart Community 3.0, focusing on integrated technology and in collaborative development. Smart Communities 3.0 also introduced the concept of human as sensor, where citizens can play the role of sensors, using their perception to discover and report problems using digital platforms. The efficient evolution of smart communities will require a group of enabling technology and a different type of network. IoT and sensors are a key part of smart communities and will keep evolving to support more sophisticated applications. Telehealth and many vehicles and robotics, all enabled by artificial intelligence machine learning, will create a completely different user experience, providing faster, more available and personalized services. Technologies like virtualization, edge computing, 5G, and multifunction lampposts are part of the underlay that will create this next generation infrastructure enabled by adaptive connect, compute, and storage platform. Summarizing, the integration of millions of connected devices and mobile citizen sensors interacting with machines, users, and clouds requires a fundamental rethink of the network. But let's discuss what is affecting the ability of those networks to change. First is because old systems can handle the new demands. Most of today's networks are full of legacy systems, legacy billing, and models and legacy protocols. It makes the network bloated and slow with tens of hundreds of manual processes involving in setup, revision, and tear down. Many networks operators are still using spreadsheets and offline tools when a new service is requested, and this can take a very long time. Those networks need to be updated to better serve their customer and their communities. But at Ciena, we understand these challenges and we can help you evolve your network at your own pace. Every community will have a different journey starting point and evolution speed. After all, we have been building the biggest and best transport network in the world for 25 years, and we have been doing this in partnership with our customer. When we released the first virtual control plane back in 2008, we realized that fully automated network is not always the answer. Some network operators may want to keep the network, keep control over the network, and they want to start to automate over time. We can help you implement ways to decrease errors, to increase service responsiveness, and to meet exponential demands from users and devices. We can help you create a network that adapts to your community demands and their own requirements. And that solution is what we call adaptive network. An adaptive network is based on three main pillars that can be implemented together or independently when the communities believe they will benefit from each one of the pillars or they need those pillars to solve their challenges and pain points. So let's take a look at how adaptive IP works. So it starts with a programmable infrastructure that's a dynamic pool of virtual and physical network resources, instrumented, open, and scalable, and secure. These pool of resources can and should be multi-vendor. This is what we call connect. The second pillar is analytics and intelligence. It provides predictive analytics and machine learning based on both big data and small data. This is what we call sense. The third pillar is software control and automation, which delivers federated inventory, open domain control, and multi-layer orchestration. This is what we call ACT. Together, these pillars create what we call closed-loop automation that allows the network to self-optimize, and self-heal, aligning with the requirements of this very dynamic network environment. Of course, we understand that every community network will be in different moments of the journey into automation, and the adaptive network can easily adapt to this moment. So we can add more or less automation. We can increase the automation level of your network over time when you are comfortable, when you align with all your procedures to this level of automation, and we really start to trust the network. And to make it easier for you to make this transition between the legacy network to an adaptive network, we have our service wrapper, and which includes a group of technical and professional services that can help customers build, operate, and improve their networks. All those elements together help you have a faster, smarter, and safer adaptive network. So looking to making a quick comparison between how the networks are today and what are the benefits, what an adaptive network can bring to you. And starting by the design. So we have the traditional, like very manual and offline design that based on offline tools. We have a customer already telling us in some of our events that they still use like notebooks to control their circuits or to control how their networks provision. So the adaptive network will evolve to help you to take advantage of analytics and the insight-driven software and information that will make your network design much more adaptive and much more automatic. So it will help you to match the market demand. On inventory and configuration, today's network is very focused on physical devices, on box and platforms, and in the future, the networks will help you with this configuration with functions like auto discovery. We'll be able to support physical, logical, and virtual devices. So the big benefit of those transitions will be the automation and increase the accuracy of when you're configuring a network. On the provisioning part, most of the network are BSS driven. They are very slow and static. And all the devices that you put on the network, they are like boxes. They are demarcation devices based on boxes. When we evolve the network to become adaptive, we're going to start to have an infrastructure that's much more customer driven. So your constituents will be deciding what they need from the network, and you're going to be able to support them. We're going to have concepts as a network as a service, real-time orchestration, and we're going to start to add also virtual devices to your network. So this will increase a lot your service velocity. In terms of assurance, we have a very reactive way of providing network assurance. We start to work on to troubleshoot the network when the customer calls you to complain about a problem, to complain that network is out, or to complain about performance. The idea with adaptive networks is to take advantage of this analytics, to take advantage of machine learning and artificial intelligence, to be able to understand what is the network normal behavior and predict possible failure. So it will increase your customer quality of experience, will reduce your time to resolve the problems. And in terms of security, that's another very important part of how networks will evolve. Now we have this very bolt-on and reactive type of security when everything we have this physical security, but in the future we are also going to look for a normal behavior of the network. We're going to have a security built-in on those platforms, and it will be able to provide you alarms and to inform you that something is not right or your network's being hacked in real time. So your customer will trust your network even more. Now that we discussed it and look into the adaptive network vision, we're going to go deeper into a specific part of your network that's really important to support in the next wave of application. It's your IP network. So your constituents are really expecting more service, more application, more complex applications, and all those applications are really attached to the IP layer. So when IP networks are now in an important inflection point caused by this new wave of application and the digital transformation that's happening in public administration and business. New applications such as next generation transportation, telemedicine, public security, and even autonomous vehicles will require higher network performance, pushing the storage, computing capacity, and IP flexibility closer to the end user, humans and machines. The IP networks will extend further to the edge, dramatically increase the number of IP nodes that you're going to need to manage and deploy. IoT and sensors will exponentially grow the number of IP-enabled devices and even the IP sessions carried by your IP network. Just to illustrate, the number of connected devices will more than double from 2018 to 2023. And we will have 1.8 connected device for each member of the global population by 2023. Finally, the connectivity needs from humans and machines are changing much more frequently than in the past. This will put a lot of pressure on the network operational teams. So if we think about how the number of changes that a customer are requiring a couple of years ago, it's more like 1 or 2 or 3 changes a year in a stable network. But even on those stable network, when you look to the new applications, what the type of use case they need to support, they're starting to make require changes probably more than once a month. And this will just accelerate when we have machines requiring those changes to start from being daily changes and then a couple of times a day. And in many cases, they're going to get you to ask changes in real time. And this will put a lot of pressure on big service provider, but will affect the community networks even more due to the operational model when in many cases we have technicians or engineers participating in multiple network activities at the same time. So that's why it's extremely important when you look to your network and understand what's the right way to evolve your network to support those new applications. So first, let's look into the legacy ways of implementing IP and to understand what the challenges that they will bring to support your network evolution. So the legacy network, they are really box-centric. So all the decisions are made at the network level. And when we discuss about scaling capacity and adding more customer or growing on network capacity was just about adding bigger and more routers in your network. And all the traffic decision is made at the network level. So the network elements are the one that defines how to forward the traffic. It creates a very rigid topology and target poorly to scale clients. And in many cases, they are carrying a lot of unnecessary and outdated protocols. So this causes really bad consequences for your network and how we're going to evolve to be able to support those new applications. First, when you talk about those legacy protocols and this network that all the decisions are made by the elements, it's make your network overly complex. Okay, this Howard-centric approach creates the need for much more processing and storage capacity in every node or router. It directly impacts the network footprint and power consumption, affecting your network ability to scale in capacity and in performance. When you see like complexity, more processing capacity at the network level, more storage, footprint, and power, it's easily to translate this into more CapEx to be able to acquire those big routers with much more processing capacity, and also in OpEx. We're talking about needing more space, needing more power, and also the complexity of network, you're going to need more people to be able to maintain and operate that network. And also when you took into consideration that the number of IP devices will grow and the number of chains required to support those new applications will grow, we can easily see how this OpEx can explode. And also another important part is when you have those, this level of complexity on the network, this also impacts your ability to serve your constituents and also how fast you can serve them and support those new services. So it's a big impact in how we're gonna keep managing and you're gonna keep evolving your network in the future. So let's take a better look in what the new applications are driving, what we really need the IP network to support. So there are three main pillars or main things that the IP network, the new applications are requiring from the IP network. First one is more bandwidth, more performance, and more flexibility. But this needs to be delivered in a way that is simple and scalable and cost efficient. And also the network operators and the community network will need to have the ability to respond in real time to those to the changes and to those those applications requirements. And also it need to be able to provide full visibility to the network operator. We are talking about having multiplying the number of IP nodes. We're talking about having services that are requiring much more performance. So you need to be able to see the resource that we have, to understand the service that we have on your network, and be able to react in real time. So it's very important that your network evolve in that direction. And this is what adaptive IP can really help you, and can help, and also enabling your network to evolve in the right direction. So adaptive IP is much more than just adding IP protocols in routers. So we talked about those legacy solutions when we have all the decision done at the network level and having legacy protocols, bigger router. Adaptive IP is much more than that. It's a use case of adaptive network when we apply all those three pillars and the programmable infrastructure, the analytics and intelligence, the software control and automation to really help your IP network to evolve. So we are not talking about just providing a different router or a bigger router or a more powerful router, but we're talking about providing you a different solution that leverage those three pillars. So when you look to adaptive IP, it will help your IP network to become disaggregated. And by disaggregation, I mean that it will split the control between the network element and an SDN layer, a software layer. And the big advantage of this, you may think, okay, I'm not there yet, so this is not, I have a simple operation. But when we see the big advantage that it will bring to the community, in terms of cost, in terms of how easy your network will become to operate, you're gonna see that it really makes sense. We are seeing that serving the communities are becoming even much more challenging, and it's important that you think about disaggregation as a way to move forward. And by splitting the control of the network between the element and the SDN layer, it enables you to abstract all the complexity of those new applications to this SDN layer. It will make your network much more scalable, so you can keep the network the network layer way simpler, while you take advantage of all this cloud-like scalability to support those new applications. So instead of adding more processing capacity on the routers, you're going to be taking advantage of this off-the-shelf server and all the virtualization that you can have in a data center or in a cloud environment to support those new applications. Also, a network that will allow you to create new services faster and offer on-demand services in alignment with your community needs. It will also open your IP network, increasing your capacity to innovate and future-proofing your investment. So when you talk about open innovation and legacy, and when you compare to legacy network, in many cases you have this closed environment when the customer, your vendor are really focused on keeping your network locked. But what we are bringing with adaptive IP is a way for you to open your network and be able to evolve and to support new use case. Well, in Ciena, we believe that the best of breed, the network needs to have the best of breed, and to be able to do that, it needs to be open and you need to be able to support different vendors. So adaptive IP also helps you to open up your IP infrastructure. And you do that using some IP technology that will be the foundation of how IP networks will evolve. So segment routing is an IP routing technology that really simplifies how you do traffic engineering, how you can support those new services. Real-time telemetry will give you the ability to react in real time and to align with these new application requirements in terms of performance, in terms of scalability. And coherent optics is also an important part when we look to how much bandwidth you need at your network and how fast you need to scale. So it gives you much more capacity and much more reach on your router's platform. So this may seem like a little bit overwhelming, and okay, I have on my network, it was created based on a legacy IP infrastructure, and now I have this presentation here talking about, okay, I need to change everything, and now I need to think about what I'm gonna do. I invested a lot of money in my existing IP network, so, and he's talking about making it open, making it automated, it's disaggregated, a lot of complex concepts, but in reality, adaptive IP is a journey. So I'm not talking about that you need to start rip and replace what you have implemented, and you don't need to have all those elements at the same time. So we can work together with you to identify what are your main pain points, what are the challenges that you have to support those new applications, and start slow and start when it will really add value to your community network. And as I said, adaptive IP can have multiple ways deployment models. So you can just use adaptive IP in a new deployment. So you have a new network that you need to build, you have a new community that you need to serve, you can deploy using adaptive IP, using technology like segment routing. But if you just, you have your network, you have your legacy IP network using MPLS, as an example, you can expand because adaptive IP and it can coexist with the legacy IP. So you can have a seamless integration between what you have now and what you want to implement in the direction you want to take with your network. As I said about openness, okay, adaptive IP was created to support this multiple IP domains, multiple technology generations in multiple vendors. And you can decide, okay, I want to evolve my network to become adaptive, but I need to create a step-by-step blueprint on how to do it. And we can work with you and to define what's the best way to evolve to a network become all adaptive. But even if you decide to start small or you want to really go fast and replace everything, we'll help your network to become simpler. We're gonna help you to reduce your capex, to protect your investment by breaking the vendor lock-in, and also to optimize your opex when you start to face those challenges that the new applications will bring and the new market dynamic will bring. So you can start to leverage some level of automation, some level of analytics to simplify your operation. And again, when I talk about adaptive IP, we have communities that already benefit from the adaptive IP solution. So we have dozens of network operators globally that are already implementing adaptive IP, and we have a couple of the biggest mobile network operators in the world adopting adaptive IP to support their 5G deployment. But we have adaptive IP going in different types of networks. We have them on those mobile operators. So we have then adaptive IP being implemented in regional service provider and even in utility companies. So some good examples are that I think it will resonate with you and with your community. It's the Colorado Department of Transportation, CDOT, and Xcel Energy. They are both adopting adaptive IP as their way to better serve their communities. In the link below, you can access the podcast that Bob Pfeiffer and John Winners from CDOT recorded explaining how adaptive IP will help them to make Colorado highways better, safer, and efficient. Just summarizing and going to the takeaways, the important things that you need to keep in your mind while we're discussing adaptive IP. Adaptive IP is a different way of delivering standard-based IP connectivity to your community. So we're not talking about a different IP, it's still standard-based, so it's still open, so it's not a Ciena IP, but we are proposing a different way of delivering it, a way that's automated, open, and lean. And by automated, we are talking about having no more rigid box-centered network design and error-prone manual process. By open, we want to remove proprietary protocols and vendor lock-in. And lean, we want to help you to get rid of those monolithic software stack and also does obsolete and relevant legacy protocols. So this is immediately translating to a network that's much more simple, helps you to evolve, gives you agility, increase your network performance, make your network much more efficient, available, and enable choice. So we need to think about all those things when you need to serve your community, when you need to evolve your network. So those are key principles that need to be part of how you're planning. And from now on, every investment that you are making your network with Ciena, with any other vendor, is important to think, am I making my network more adaptive, or I'm just spending money to keep it as with the legacy type of approach? I'm spending money to make my life much more complicated when I need to support those new applications. And that's all I want to present to you today. I can thank you enough for participating on this Ciena presentation about adaptive network and adaptive IP. And I'm now open for questions. Thank you.